Digital 410 Productions proudly presents the What's in Your Head podcast.
Digitized live from the ACT Computer Studios in Cape Coral, Florida, it's the What's in Your Head podcast with your hosts Gordon and Don Abernathy.
What's up, OG5? Don't you hate when you're ready to go, when you take a sip of your drink, Gordon, and you realize you didn't put any bourbon in it?
I do. Hold on. I've got to take this. I am so sorry. Everything's upside down, and we will explain.
Okay. Explain. Do your thing. I have to say, it's Tuesday, and God, this week sucks already. It's been a horrible week, and, we had to delay the show yesterday and over to today, which ain't a big deal because as we have been here for a while, we're consistently inconsistent. And so we're maintaining that mantra by moving yesterday's show to today. And even though Gordon's home from work, he's taking business calls, but that's the way it is. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way. It's been Thanksgiving weekend. Now that's done, said, and over with. And I hope everybody had a nice Thanksgiving, and I hope if you're out in California or anywhere of these states that are pretty much still locked down, hopefully you bucked the system and you responsibly brought in as many family members and households as possible while maintaining a semblance of your civil duties. But this whole thing where we're just going to close down on holidays, nah, we're not down for that. I think we had like 8 people over here. Oh, who'd that be? That little
This is
puppy
why I had
dog.
to take a phone call. Katina was at the pet store wanting to get a couple other things.
No, little baby.
So we're a little upside down. We do apologize for no show yesterday, but this little guy right here is the reason. I've been trying to get a pet or doggy for 10 years.
What's that, a King Cavalier?
That is a King Charles Cavalier
King
Spaniel.
Charles, I do beg your pardon, sir.
And his name is Oliver.
Please, sir, can I have some more?
There you go. Yeah, people from the third-party deal for the AKC called me. They're like, you haven't picked a middle name yet? No.
You actually fall for that $250 ruse?
Nope, just on the 30-day and the transfer.
No, I got you.
That's it.
Yeah, they're like, we'll probably, I'm not going to go to a dog show, and I don't anticipate breeding, so I'll save that $300, thanks.
Yeah.
But by the way, you can go back and do it at any time, because it's not like your dog's bloodline changes.
Exactly. Bloodline doesn't change. I'm about ready to call his middle name Cash because he,
Well, yeah, they all do.
well, pricey.
We've been we were bamboozled and had a family member drop off a Shih Tzu wiener dog mix.
You still got it?
On Thanksgiving. What's up, Morgan Long, OG5 checking in. What's up, Amanda? Yeah, Louis still here. He's about 3 weeks younger than Bailey. He's not 100% housebroken, which really just disturbs me, but that's neither here nor there. And he likes to chew up my shit. So since he started coming to my house, he's chewed up my dresser drawers, 2 of my kitchen cabinets, and the support beam on my director's chair that I sit in while playing Xbox. He was actually sitting under me doing it while I was playing. So now when I leave the house, because I don't know how long this dog is going to be taking up residence at my house. But so this morning, yesterday and today when I left, I gave him like chew bones in the morning, came home, dropped a bunch of dog toys on the bedroom, gave him chew toys at noon. And luckily I haven't seen anything else being chewed, but yeah, so Bailey has a full-time playmate right now, which she loves the shit out of because the cats want nothing to do with her. And this dog's 3 weeks younger than she is. And so they spend all their time wrestling, fighting, and playing and having a grand old time. But I think she's getting a little annoyed with less attention being given to her. I mean, we still give her 80% of the attention, but you can't be babysitting another puppy and completely ignore it. And so she's getting a little perturbed about the amount. What's up, John Kraft? Checking in. So how did this thing come? I mean, you've been wanting a goddamn dog for probably 10 years or more.
Yeah, I just, we've been working on it and looking and this Thanksgiving, the crux of it or that really got it going was this Thanksgiving. We went to my brother-in-law's house. He has a silver lab. She's about a little over a year old. So as we know, labs, they're great dogs when they're older, but they're terrorists when they're young.
Mm-hmm.
And she's 85 pounds.
Wow.
She's a big girl. And, Katina's been looking at getting a first dog because she's never had a dog. They didn't grow up in a family with dogs and cats. Sabrina is the first cat she's ever had, which actually brings me to why I had to take a phone call. But I'll get to that in a second. But it just kind of came about when we started looking around. We started calling breeders. Nobody's calling us back.
Yeah. Well, it's the holiday season.
Nobody's calling us. And yeah, it's the holiday season, but I still haven't seen an email one.
Yeah.
So we're looking, and we ended up looking at one of those places that, they tell you not to go to.
Well,
the puppies are already there.
Well, let me go on file and say two things. One, to say not to go to those places, first and foremost, pet stores, at least the ones in the United States, most of them don't deal with puppy mills anymore. That's why if you go to a pet store, you're going to get sticker shocked. The prices have increased tenfold in the last 12 years since I bought my Beagle. The good news is as you and I discussed, there's going to be less likelihood of high school and middle school boys going out and buying their girlfriends a puppy for a birthday for $300 and the thing ending up in a pound, because now they're not $300. So hopefully that greatly reduces the amount of dogs ending up in shelters due to impulse buys, because, well, it's not an impulse buy, it's an impulse finance that requires credit.
Oh my God. Yes,
and
it does.
Two, as somebody who manages a bunch of veterinarian clinics and a pet store, every pet store, at least in the state of Florida, is required to have a certified veterinarian come at least once a week to inspect said dogs. Mm-hmm. And most above board pet stores will give you a free first visit to the partnered veterinarian clinic. So when you get said dog, they already have a clean bill of health. If they do have currently in a position of being sick or whatever, that pet store usually covers those veterinarian bills for the pre-existing condition. And so and let's be honest, kind of like when it comes to these vegans that don't eat beef, it's blah, blah, blah. Well, if none of us ate beef, that cow wouldn't exist, because that cow was bred and born for the express purpose. Thus, that cat was born and bred for this express purpose. So the dog's already been born and bred. So, I don't fall into this, and furthermore, most of these pet stores now are franchise operated. They're not big corporation.
They were franchised out back in 2014. They tripled their size. And they actually require the breeders to have a Nevada state license on top of it, being USDA certified or something, and it's not a steak, and AKC.
Yep.
So, it's a little pricey, but hey, I think he's definitely worth it. I tell you what, the first night, so far, I have not heard this puppy bark. So he hasn't barked yet. He does whine. That's fine. He does grunt when you move him around too much. I just gave him his first bath, so he's shaking like an epileptic cornhusker.
Mm-hmm.
They allegedly bathed him.
Yeah.
But they ended up using just a dry shampoo, and it was like they put cocoa on the smell of stinky dog. So round one, he's a lot better, but I'm thinking there's going to be a couple more rounds before we get all the jail smell off of him, so to speak.
Let me ask you this: where do you guys fall into the sleeping camp? Do you kennel him at night, or is he sleeping in your bed?
Right now, we are doing the whole kennel thing. We will release him from the kennel thing. Well, one of two things: the cat sleeps with us, and the cat does not want anything to do with him. She hisses at him. Katina's actually at the pet store now looking for some stuff to help calm her down. Now, they did give us CBD oil with him.
Yeah.
So I may be dropping a little on her cat treats to see if that helps.
The cat will get over it.
And that's what I'm telling her. But again, she's not used to this, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, you're talking to somebody who's constantly bringing new animals into their environment, who has 4 cats, so now I'm down to 3. But they get over it. And like I told you, animals are pack animals, cats, dogs, otherwise. So after a few months, you'll probably see them laying next to each other on the couch.
Well, that's one of the reasons we chose this breed, is they allegedly adore felines. So, I mean, he's also spaniel, so he's going to want to chase her from time to time too.
Yeah.
And okay.
Well, it's funny because there's certain schools of people out there who think, oh, kennel training's mean and this and that and everything. And you and I were talking about this. I've never personally kennel trained any of my dogs, but I don't need to, because I got a walk-in closet. And every dog I've had, when they want to be alone, they walk into the closet and go to sleep. Or Louis, in this case, he was kennel trained. His kennel is in my bedroom. The door's open. Whenever he wants to lay down, he walks and gets in his kennel. He doesn't see it as a punishment. He sees it as a safe place. And so every night he just goes, lays in his kennel, and I just shut the door to keep him from walking around pissing in my house. But yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with kennel training. It actually gives them a sense of security, especially in a case like this. If Bailey has to go stay at someone's house, I can't take my goddamn closet with me. So Louis has a sense of home when he's traveling. And
He's got his camper van or his, whatever you want to call it.
I know a lot of people don't find themselves in the back end of a veterinarian clinic, but if you ever do, you're walking through whatever, and you see the cat sitting in litter boxes, the reason why a cat sits in a litter box when you're boarding it or if it's at a veterinarian clinic is the same reason with the kennel. It's they smell themselves in the litter box, and it gives them a sense of security that they're at home. That's why when you see a cat being boarded at a boarding place or at a veterinarian clinic, you often or not, they sleep and lay in the litter box, which is gross, but it's that sense of security. It reminds them of home.
Yep. So real quick, I wanted to respond to Lori because I am all about getting a shelter dog first. Mm-hmm. However, a couple things. We've been looking at shelter dogs for a long time, years. And unfortunately in Las Vegas, most of them are mixed with two breeds I personally don't care for. That'd be Pit and Chihuahua. So, and then number two, being that it is Katina's first dog, we wanted something good with the cat.
Yeah, well, not only that, but
something that's easy to train. And King Charles Spaniel Cavaliers are allegedly one of the easier dogs to train out there, and it's very friendly. I mean, this little guy's in my lap right now.
And furthermore,
this is kind of why we opted this way.
Furthermore, not to paint with a broad brush, but let's be honest. It's a toss-up. Not all of them, clearly, but there is a percentile of dogs that are in a shelter for a lot of times behavior problems. And there's nothing wrong with that if you're an experienced pet owner. But in the case of like your wife, who's never even had a family dog as a child herself, to take the risk of bringing in a dog that may be temperamental, who wasn't trained properly,
or a cat killer,
or is, well, not even that, but let's say they had a poor home exposure. They were either kept out on a rope, or they were abused, or just not trained properly. Once they get to advanced age, I'm not saying it can't be done. It just takes a lot of work, love, and dedication on the part of the animal owner to properly house train it, and this and that and the other thing. And if, once again, you're in a two-person household and one of you is completely unexperienced, and let's be honest, you yourself as an adult have never owned a puppy, correct? You've had dogs when we were children, but you've never personally housebroken a dog.
Children. I've been around, we had dogs that I helped get when I was with mom in my early 20s to mid 20s. But no.
But you've never personally housebroken a pet independently.
No.
And so it's in all those conditions, it's just easier to do starting with a young dog instead of trying to reprogram one that wasn't taken care of appropriately.
That is correct. Now, a couple of upshots, a couple of pluses.
And then we'll move on so we don't spend the entire podcast talking about pets. But go ahead.
Yep. So he didn't use the bathroom in his kennel last night. I got him outside this morning. He did his thing. And then the other big thing is Katina goes, man, he was whining so bad. He's pulling on his cage. He's really whining. So I thought he wanted out. I let him out, and he took a crap. I'm like, that right there is fucking awesome to hear, because that means he's letting you know, dude, I got to use the bathroom.
Yeah. Now I commend you on your chosen method of house training, which is you want to put him on the leash, put him on the harness, take him outside and walk him. But in the case of like what you experienced this morning, chances are by the time you get the leash, the harness, your shoes, your clothes, and get him out, he's already going to show on the floor. Whereas if you're at the point where you just open a slider, let him run out in the backyard,
right?
He can. So that's going to and
that'll pivot. If I hold him and he's got to use the bathroom, he don't use the bathroom.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is my method of potty training, at least for the first month and a half, which can be very annoying for the young children in the house, is I let the damn dog out every 45 minutes, which seems a little excessive, but that doesn't give them a time to pee in the house or poop in the house. And so after they do it a few times, and they start to learn. Like I said, Bailey, I think by day 4 we had the doorbell on our slider. We have one of those. It's a piece of webbing as us World War II people call it. You might call it a vinyl rope with the jingle bells on it. And she would just go tap it with her nose, and we'd get a letter out. It's to the point now that we'll be in the bedroom, and Sammy, the African Grey, imitates it. So now we don't know if Bailey's at the door or if Sammy's imitating it. But other than that, man, I say go for it, and congratulations.
Well, thank you. So I do want to pivot because we do have some sad news from Grove City, Ohio. And I'll just start out reading this chorus. Drink to the dead while you're all you still alive. We shall join them in good time. Should you go crossing that silvery brook, best to leap before you look. A guy I went to high school with named Doug Yours. You may know who he is. Passed away. He owned a business called Posh Nosh. He was a chef. He's kind of a really big guy, but is about as friendly as you can get.
Does he have a younger brother named Jeff?
Very possibly. Yes.
I think I went to school with him.
Family.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, Doug will be missed by a lot of people.
That sucks.
Very good guy, and I would say bottoms up, but I don't have anything to drink today, so
I'll drink on your behalf.
there you go. But yeah, so just want to get that uncomfortableness out of the way. How has your week been?
Terrible, but before I get to that, Sean, I got your OG5 sticker here. I just fucked up your What's in Your Head podcast sticker before, so I got to recut that tomorrow, and then I'll get that sent out to you. If you guys want a sticker, and as you see, I'm saying a sticker, but if I'm going to pay the 32 cents in postage, I usually throw more than one in there. Email us info@d-410.com. Tell us what color and what sticker you want. Sean just said he wants it loud and obnoxious as possible, so I had an orange What's in Your Head sticker for him and then a bright red OG5 sticker.
There you go.
I haven't streamlined this process yet, and to be honest with you, what happened was when I was putting a clear transfer tape on it, a little piece of it fell early, and you can't remove it. So basically, once that piece fell on there, it destroyed the sticker.
Done.
So I got to start all over again. Jesus. So we had Thanksgiving, and that was fine and dandy. And then you and I were playing Call of Duty on Sunday.
Right.
And then I had to go out, and we paused our Every Plate box. This is the first time since COVID started that we haven't gotten a weekly Every Plate box. We paused it for a month or for a week just because we're at the point now where we're repeating the meals quite a bit. And so we just decided to take a break for a week. We regretted that decision now that we got to go out and buy food again. But anyhow, you and I got off Sunday, and I had to go to the store, and I couldn't find Carrie's debit card, which turned into and this
what? Actually, now that you talk about it, what really threw me off is it sounds like it happened before.
Well, what happened last time was we were downtown Fort Myers, and I missed my pocket or I missed my money clip or whatever, and we didn't even know we lost it. Actually, we did realize we lost it. And as soon as Carrie canceled it, somebody called it, actually hit Carrie up on Facebook. They tracked her down and said, hey, did you lose your card? We went down to town Fort Myers. These people were they were actually on their way to the airport. We met up with them because they were tourists, got her card back. But at that point, there was no reactivating it. But anyhow, so we went on her account, figured out the last few places it was used, this and that and the other thing. I drove all over town, made phone calls, couldn't find it, came home. Found it in her lunch bag. She's a teacher, so she has one of these lunch bags that looks like a purse. It even has like the purse style handles and like the imitation Louis Vuitton print on the outside. It looks like a purse. It was sitting on the dresser next to her real purse. Apparently in the dark, I just stuck my hand in there and put it in there. So I found that. But at that same time, she came out of the shower and to have the water backing up into our toilet. Glug, 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 glug. I'm sorry, our bathtub. And fun fact, when your septic tank is full and your water backs up, it will come out of the floor by your toilet. That grease seal, I guess, is only one directional.
The wax seal,
the wax seal is not bi-directional, by the way. And so when that water rises up, it comes out from underneath the toilet. And we're like, what the fuck? We just had this done. So I went into the old bank account and looked when we had it done. We had it done last December. And I'm like, I could have sworn the rule of thumb is depending on usage, you can get 2 to 3 years out of this. Now, for those of you on city water, you know you're a country folk when you use the term city water.
Yeah, I'm on city water, bud.
For those of you who've never been on a septic system, how it works is you have a tank where all your water and shit goes. The toilet paper, the shit, if you're significant other has a bad habit of pouring grease down the sink, which they shouldn't do. That's what pickle jars are for. All that collects down in there. And then the water that doesn't have all that nastiness, that weighs less than all that funk, it goes up through a series of pipes, series of tubes like the internet, into these little triangles with wheat poles in them underneath your yard. It's called a leach field, and it goes into your soil. That's why as you drive around Florida in the summertime, you'll see everybody has dead yards, but the top flat part by the house is nice bright green because, well, that's from the septic system.
Well, you know where your leach field's at.
Yep. And so last year, I called this septic company. We'll just call them just a septic company. And they came out. And sorry, I'm getting text messages from my co-host from the What's the Scuttlebutt podcast. But new episode's out, by the way, WTSPWorldWar2.com. But anyhow, when a septic company came out last year, the guy mentioned he thought maybe my leach field didn't seem to be leaking appropriately. Now, I don't know if this was code to, hey, you know, this shit ain't full. He never told me it wasn't full. He just said, hey, you know, and he sucked it out and everything seemed to be fine. Holy crap.
Yeah, you may want to get that looked at.
And so, sorry about that. And so I called this company back to see if I can get somebody out here. And they're like, well, we can get somebody out there Tuesday. Now, keep in mind, this is Monday morning. I tried calling Sunday, did the option for return phone call, never got it. And how the septic game works is if you have someone come out on a scheduled day, like tomorrow, Thursday, or whatever, it's $290. If you need same-day service, that falls under the category of emergency, and they add on an extra like $200 to $300 for their convenience. So obviously, I couldn't afford that. So I said, fine, come out tomorrow, gave my credit card number. Now, when I called this company, it said, hey, this is part of a Wind Reservation Environmental Company. I changed the name to protect those all involved because I'm not out to batter or destroy anybody. And so I told Carrie, she's like, well, what are we going to do tonight? We can't shower. We can't flush our toilet. You spent all Sunday pissing in the backyard. Which, by the way, if you're a homeowner, you should do anyhow. But the females, on the other hand, can't really do that. She's like, call around, see if you can find anybody. So I go through the old Google machine, and I call up Septic Tank Company B. Different name. Thank you for calling Septic Tank Company being a Wingate Environmental Company. That sounds familiar. Hang up. Go down the next one. Thank you for calling Septic Company C, a Windstream Billy Bob Environmental Company. Same name. I'm starting to see a pattern here. All these are listed under different company names. And so I finally get down to like D, and it's a place called Miller Septic. I call Miller Septic up. Now, that is their real name. I'm not protecting them. Called him Miller Septic. And I said, hey, do you have any availability today? She's like, no, I can get somebody out there tomorrow. I said, well, I already have a scheduled company come out here tomorrow. I was just kind of hoping to find someone who could do same-day service without charging me the inordinate emergency service fee. She's like, no, sorry, we're all booked up. I said, that's fine. I said, let me ask you a question. Are you part of this Windstream Wingate Environmental Company? No, we're not. I said, is everybody in town owned by them? Are they buying? She's like, yeah, pretty much. I said, so they're basically going around buying up all these septic tank companies, maintaining the names, but it's all one. She's like, yeah. I said, so you're still a family mom and pop owned company? She's like, yeah. Well, apparently, somebody heard me ask these questions, and I hear her say, hold on. And then she's like, well, where are you at? And I said, I'm out in northeast, southwest, over here, North Cape. And she's like, well, hold on a second. She's like, yeah, I can get somebody out there today. I was like, fantastic. So I gave him the address, and I called and canceled the other one. Like 10 minutes, guys, like, I'll be on my way to your place. Damn, that's quick. Let me turn around. I was like, I'm halfway to the office, expecting him to be there at noon. It's like 9:30. So I flip a bitch, head back. He's already here. He's already got the covers, because the lady's like, well, where's your septic tank at? I'm like, it's in the front left. He'll feel the divots in the ground where this was just done 11 months ago. The grass is back, but there's divots from where the dirt's missing. So he already has the two covers pulling off, and they have a pokey pole where they poke in the soil to find objects, to find these concrete lids and things. And he's up in my flower bed poking around. I'm like, what? I pull up, like, what's going on? He's like, your tank's not full. You got a clog. Well, shit. He's like, I'm trying to find your white, he's like, you should have a white box or white access panel. He's like, there's a pipe that goes in your house, and it has an access
clean
panel.
out, basically.
He's like, I can't see it.
Yep.
And Now, I had just pulled I got these bushes in my flower bed that spread like wildfire, and I just pulled a bunch of them out this weekend to thin out my flower bed because it looked like a weed bed. I was like, pull out whatever you need to, man. He thinks he's falling. I pull out a plant, it's not there. And he's like, I was like, what's this thing look at? And we step back. He's like, look over there. And showed my neighbor's house. You can see this 3-inch white pipe. And I look over and I see a little tiny white square underneath the mulch right next to us. No, there it is. He opens it up and there's no water coming out. He said, go in there and flush your toilet. No water coming out. He's like, I can find this clog for you. He's like, I want to save you some money. You got to call a plumber. You're going to. Long story short, he finds the clog. I'm inside and I hear. Sorry for blowing up your speakers. And he sucks the damn thing out and flushing water's coming out. Long story short, he says, man, you can get, another months and months out of this. I'm not going to, he's like, I'll suck it out while I'm here or not. I said, well, you're going to charge me the same, $290 either way, right? He's like, no, if I don't suck it out, I'll charge you this and basically half the cost. And I said, it's fucking holiday season, man. I need to save as much money as I possibly can. Plus, we're in the middle of COVID. Everybody's strapped for cash. So I gave him, a tip, thanked him for his time. And I got thinking, chances are if I would have stuck with septic tank company A, they probably would have just pumped and ran again. And it wouldn't have fixed my problem.
Pump and dump.
But this guy saw that there was an issue. Because keep in mind, company A, who was out here in December, looked at it and said, oh, it just looks like your leach field's slow. Which kind of tells me that this clog has probably been there a while. And that's why I was having backup last year. And it was probably didn't need to be a full pump. But once again, he's not a small mom and pop company. He's part of this group of septic tank companies that are owned by this Windstream or whatever. And so, he's all about pumping and running. So thank God I switched over. So if you guys need any septic work.
Shitstream Environmental Services.
Yeah, so if you guys need any, this is not a sponsor or a plug. They didn't give me a discount. But if you guys need any septic tank work done, call Miller Septic over at 239-731-5868 because they saved me money. And they didn't just come, suck it out and left. The guy looked with his experience because I looked down there, it looked full to me. He's like, no, that's just the normal water level. That's just your normal. And you see the shit in the toilet paper. He's like, that's your normal water level. He looked in there, saw that it wasn't overflowing. Because when I walked around my yard, usually a lot of times you'll see these commercials when the septic tank's overflowing, the water's all, the yard's bone dry. He looked, he saw that clearly this wasn't a problem, and in his experience, he knew that there was a clog in the house, and he spent probably more time than it would have taken him to pump and run to fix that problem, and then just since he wasn't hauling a full tank of truck, he doesn't have the disposal fee, so he didn't, he charged me half the price and took care of my problem, and I was able to take a shower and my drains drained nice and quick.
All's good in the world.
So if you need a honey wagon roll under your hood, give Miller Septic a call, 239-731-5868. But for those of you who follow my YouTube channel, and as you guys know, I did a Savage race, but my grip strength sucks in my upper arm. It's just, I go to the gym, I can curl 35-pound dumbbells, I can bench press 145 or more, but my upper arms aren't strong enough to, essentially, I need to be able to curl 198 pounds out of the 220 that I weigh, because when I'm doing these monkey bars and that, if you ever watch these, like if you go on YouTube, you watch Savage Race or Spartan or American Ninja Warrior, when these guys are doing rings and monkey bars, their arms are curled. They're very rarely straight. They're curled like this. And so you need to basically be able to curl your own body weight.
So you're saying that if you were being chased across the rooftop of a skyscraper, needed to jump to a helicopter, it just wouldn't work out for you?
I could probably hang there longer than my conventional 42-year-old counterpart, but no, I would probably fall off after a few minutes. So I say all that to say this. I decided to build a poor man's pull-up bar in my garage. And so I went down to the old big box store. And basically what I did is I just, to tell you how it is, 24 inches down of 3/4 inch galvanized pipe, 8 inches out using elbows, and then 36 inches across. So basically I built supports that are bolted to the concrete wall using the blue Tapcons. And then out, basically, I made it so because it sticks out, you got to go up. You got to go up more than it comes out in order to, make sure it don't break off the wall. And that was all fine and dandy, but I'm at the big box store, the blue one, and I don't know what their margins are, but I just found it rather peculiar that a 36-inch, 3/4-inch piece of galvanized pipe costs $11.98.
Oh, is it the electrical GRC rigid?
Yeah. You know how much
Yeah,
a
that's just
6-foot tall, 3/4-inch piece of galvanized pipe costs? If the 36-inch costs $11.98, what do you think a 6-foot tall one costs?
Well, the problem is you should just buy it in 10-foot length. It'd probably be cheaper.
Well, what do you think it costs?
I should know this because I'm an electrical estimator.
It costs
but I haven't-
$11.98.
Yeah, yep.
So the 36-inch and the 6-foot cost the same price.
It's because you had to pay somebody to cut it.
So I bought the 6-foot one, actually 2 of them, and got out a coping saw and cut them myself. But
A
it
10-foot stick,
probably costs
metal rigid.
$11.98.
$20.96.
Yeah, it's like 4 feet longer. But it's like, come on, really? You can't at least play along and sell it for $9.89? I mean, it's not even half. It's less than half the length of a 6-foot one, and it's the same exact price. But I don't know. I don't know their margins. But anyhow, I got the job done. If you guys want to see how it turned out and how to build your own, you can go check out the YouTube channel. That's Digital 410 on YouTube.com. This episode of the What's in Your Head podcast, the late night version, is brought to you by our friends at Computers. Computers has been providing IT solutions for all of Southwest Florida since 2004, and right now, and as well as all year long, man, I cannot express the importance of online backup. So give them a call at 239-283-1120. No matter where you live in the country, they can hook you up, make sure all your data is backed up online for 7 cents a gig per month. You know, if you're working from home, you're a small business owner. At least make sure you're backing up that QuickBooks. You can say you're backing up to an external hard drive, which is great. But in the last 5 years, those encryptor viruses, they encrypt anything connected to your computer. I cannot tell you how many clients who decided not to go with the online backup at first got those viruses and it encrypted everything on their external hard drive, all their backup stuff. Whereas if it's online, you know, it's safe for up to 30 days. So, you know, don't risk it. If you're not on a solid state hard drive yet, standard hard drive life expectancy is 4 years now. So if you got a 4-year-old computer, you got QuickBooks on there, you got any boilerplate Word files, spreadsheets you use for your business, and you're not backing that stuff up, you know, 7 cents a gig. Word files are small. QuickBook company files are small. You know, it's not going to cost you a whole bunch of money to back up that stuff. Just back it up, and it's done nightly. And if for some reason your computer's off and you turn on the next day, it starts up right away. So it takes out the human error, takes out the potential for viruses and, you know, hard drive failure. Let's say your office gets broken into, your computer gets stolen. Now what? So anyhow, give them a call, 239-283-1120. Antivirus protection, 2-form authentication, break fix. Even if you're not here in the state of Florida, as long as you have internet connection, they can help you get all your issues resolved, help you navigate the wonderful world of Microsoft Office 365. Which doesn't sound now hard, but I've seen some goofy stuff with that. Give them a call, 239-283-1120. What else have you been going on this way? I mean, you've been busy with your dog and all that. How was your
I'm
Thanksgiving?
running on 3 hours of sleep, and it was more just because, I was thinking about him. Is he whining? Which I got to just, hey, if you let him self-soothe, and then just how it's changing the dynamics of the household. But, man, that's just it. I've been busy working.
Well, I mean...
I
Real
do have
quick
a
on that
couple of
point, the dog whining and all that,
but
he's still going to be more comfortable than laying in that aquarium at the pet store. So
absolutely, it's just they got to learn to self-soothe, and I get that. But no, things are going good. I've got some Fridays off coming up. I did have a Analog 410. I was going to play on the film this Friday. I think I still will. It's more of a just working on some yard furniture, and well, I'll probably add him to the mix, and we'll go from there. Yes, I'm actually, he's in my lap. He's asleep, and I think he just farted. But
welcome to my world.
But he jumped. It's funny. It's like he's having a dream. Anyway, no, everything else is just, it's been going good. I had a great Thanksgiving. It was just 2, 4, 6, 7 of us total. That would be my brother and sister-in-law, my parental in-laws, that'd be my mother-in-laws. So we refer to them as the Pitas. because of the Greeks. And then we had my nephew, and then Katina and myself. I did do good, although tonight, because of this puppy, I'm probably going to come off my no sugar, no grains for the evening. But
Why, you gonna eat the dog?
no, well, he's all.
Well, I mean, what does the dog have to do
No,
with your
Katina's out, and I haven't made dinner yet. So
Oh,
thanks.
yeah, that's right.
Bad.
You're it's like 11, almost 11 here. You're still behind. That's right.
Yeah, it's 7:40 here. Thanksgiving wise, I had a small slice of pumpkin pie, one scoop of ice cream, and 2 dinner rolls, which was horrible, and a little bit of stuffing. And to be quite honest, I felt like garbage after that. So I hope to God there's no French fries in what's going on here, and I hope he isn't the reason we come off of a healthy way eating. I don't think he will be. Everything's going good. Not going to discuss my weight loss yet. I wanted to build a little bit. It's definitely noticeable to the people in the family, and I'm a big guy anyway, who kind of carry. I think I always carried it well, but so it's not as easy to notice, except for in my face more than anything.
We were talking about the cost of pets. You're losing weight pretty soon. You're going to have to buy new clothes. That just comes with it. You and I have discussed this, and Carrie and I have discussed this, and I've been meaning to share this for the last 3 episodes. I have discovered and even came up with a new slogan that I want credit for if anybody else hears it, and that is 50 is the new 20. It seems like you cannot go anywhere without spending $50. It's like spending $50 now is like it was spending $20 10 years ago. It's insane. You go to the grocery store, buy 5 things, $50. You go to a fast food restaurant to feed 3 or 4 people, it's damn near $50.
And that's what people don't understand. I get it. You want to raise the minimum wage, but unfortunately, those kinds of costs, and including the insurance and everything else, gets passed on onto the customer, and the people who feel it the most are the poor people on minimum wage and the middle class.
And then you compound that with the value of the dollar going down, which makes it worse, and the price of food and everything else going up. It's just, I mean, I don't know. It's like you can't go anywhere.
Well, it's funny, because the stock market's been doing really good, and our illustrious president-elect and his fake office of the president-elect, because that's not a real office.
Did you hear he busted his ankle allegedly playing with his dogs?
Yeah, I think Kabbalah tried to take him out. He said that the only people benefiting is Wall Street, but I'll tell you what, motherfucker, those of us with 401k, we need that Wall Street to benefit, because that's our retirement.
I don't know how this would
That's
work.
us middle class people.
I don't know how this would work, because it would get far corrupted. But in the same realm that socialists have these fantasies of a just society that wouldn't work, I've always thought it would be nice to have a party that would organize money and elections for a candidate who isn't already a millionaire or hasn't been rich for a majority of their life. Now, I'm not saying that all politicians are, but most of them who get to that level of office have already been rich for at least 30 years, to the point where they've already kind of forgot what it's like to struggle. And so when you hear people saying stuff like you were saying, it's like, dude, when's the last time you worried about paying your fucking electric bill? Now, you would probably say, well, if you can't afford to pay your electric bill, I wouldn't want you running the country. But I guess, like I said, in the fantasy realm, it would be nice to actually get somebody in office who maybe has been making $70,000 for the last 20 years and not, $500,000 or $800,000 to the point where they forget what it's like to struggle and to, live a middle-class fucking lifestyle.
And that's actually an interesting point you bring up, because one of the things that's driving me nuts with these governors shutting down economies again, and even back when they did the first round, is it's, we got to do this. It's not about it's about saving lives. It's not, and keeping the hospitals. It's not about the economy. And I just want to say, you're still getting paid, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You are still getting, you know what? You shut down the economy, your check needs to stop.
Yeah, considering you're a
guess
public
what?
figure.
That money is not coming into your coffers right now.
Exactly.
You want to shut down the economy? Go ahead. But that means you're shut down too.
And I'm sure
everybody, every crony, every person who works under you can't work now. Sorry, nobody's getting a paycheck. You're all working for free, and you're not getting it back.
You and I discussed this about a week ago. I've heard other people say this too. Now, when I say this, don't get offended and say, Don, I pay taxes. I think that if everyone physically paid, not had it withdrawn from your paycheck. Because if you have it withdrawn from your paycheck, most of us don't look at our paycheck stubs, and if you do, that's just a number that you never really see. It's just that's a percentage taken out of your check. What I'm saying is have that tax money, that your income tax, sitting in your bank account, where you say, okay, I'm looking at my bank account, I got this much money, and then once every 3 months, once every 6 months, whatever, you have to go on the IRS's website like a business owner does, who actually has to pay the payroll taxes for the employees, who sees that money in their bank account and hit submit, and then the very next day see that, or 2 days later, because, well, the FDIC is still working like it's 1942. For some reason, all these tech companies can transfer money instantaneously, but if you deposit a check, you got to wait till the next business day for it to clear. That's another conversation for another time.
Yes, it is.
But
they would see that the struggle is real.
Well, not only that, but I think all these people who keep saying the so and so is not paying enough taxes, or they're kind of I guess what I'm getting at is the school of people out there who are either don't care or kind of in favor for more taxes. If your taxes weren't withdrawn by your employer and you physically saw it in your bank account, and then you actually had to go, and 2 days later when you're going to pay your bill, say, oh, I can't pay this one this week because that tax money just came out, and you physically see it's there one day in your account where you could touch it and use it, and now it's fucking gone.
Yeah, you pay the tax bill like you pay your mortgage or something.
I think there would be and I think it's done. I think that's why it's withheld through the employer level. It's to minimize risk of civil unrest over the amount of taxes they charge people. I think if everyone physically had to pay their taxes, whether it's through clicking on a website, cutting a check, what have you, I think if taxes were not withheld by your employer, there would be a goddamn uprising. Exactly. And
a lot of people would be owing, right?
Yeah, the whole people's whole opinion on taxes would change tremendously. And on that topic, now they're saying, well, not even on taxes, but on physical money. A lot of people are using the COVID, same reason these big companies are using COVID as a reason not to provide tech support anymore. A lot of these companies are
COVID scapegoat.
Yeah, a lot of these companies are using the COVID scapegoat to no longer use cash, even though it's already been proven that COVID doesn't live on inanimate objects for any long period of time, right? And now most small mom and pop places, they prefer you use cash because there's no credit cards fees. But the big industry, big money, they would prefer that we don't have cash at all. I mean, and so would the government, because why not? What a better way to track your citizens by watching their paper money trail.
Now, out there, does your gas stations give you, some of your gas stations give you the option that, hey, this is what
the small mom and pop franchises, yes. If you pay for
and then
cash.
Here's what it is if you pay debit or credit.
The big. Okay. Interestingly enough, Visa will work with the NFL to create a digital cashless Super Bowl experience that will apply to everything from parking to concessions and mobile ordering. Fans who only have cash can access ATMs. Keep in mind, this was being planned out before COVID. And now you can't, and the fact that you can go touch your dirty burger pickers all over an ATM machine, put your dirty cash in there in exchange for digital currency, so you can go deposit it and it'll be instantaneously available on a digital card. Let's see. Fans will have access to ATMs that will accept the cash in exchange for a Visa prepaid gift card up to $500, which can also be used outside the stadium. This partnership. Go ahead.
Sounds like a green spot card or whatever we called that thing.
Yeah, I'll run that out here in a minute. This partnership comes after payment technologies company Encom Payments launched a similar cashless payment solution for the Jacksonville Jaguars home stadium, allowing fans to exchange cash for a prepaid Visa or MasterCard that would branded with the team's logo. Encom Payments plans to roll out this cashless solution to more sports venues across the country over the next few weeks.
And what's the fee that the end user has to pay?
It's probably not covered in this story, but I heard that Visa did admit that they're doing this because it makes more revenue to them. I'm sure it's probably like 3 cents or something on every exchange. I'm looking at another story real quick.
It's pennies from everywhere. But
yeah, it's like, and then you hear there's airplanes been doing it for years where they don't accept cash. It's like, hello, how is this legal to just have a bunch of companies decide that they're not going to accept the recognized American tender of currency in this country? How is that legal?
Unquote, legal tender?
Yeah. Well, I guess they'd say, well, you don't have to come to our game and use our services. Well, some of us got to fly across country when a relative dies and I can't drive from California to Ohio in a weekend, so I'm going to need to take your plane. Why can't you accept my cash? It's just, it's frightening, really. And
It is.
And,
There's a lot of frightening shit.
I mean, we can't even make it through the election without the assumptions or the proclamations that were being tampered by outside sources. So why the fuck would we want to go with a completely cashless society where people's shit is already getting compromised? Where is the backup plan for that? Where's the contingency plan for that? Well, I got all this cash and no one's going to accept.
Yeah, you hear all this identity theft companies out there, which I used to have one, but unfortunately they got bought out by one of the biggest antivirus software companies out there.
Yep.
So I since tanked them because they seem to have. I actually was getting better service and faster service off the free version that I think everybody has, the CK, the Credit Karma, and I'll go ahead and plug them. They've been great. I mean, yeah, they're trying to sell the way to also consolidate your debt, but at least you got an idea what the hell's going on, and it's free, and they'll let you know if there's a big charge that's been, popped up on you.
Introducing the Greenmark Prepaid Visa Credit Card, the most widely used prepaid Visa credit card when it comes to scamming rubes on the internet.
Thanks to the Greenmark card, I was able to settle my tax code violations with the IRS with one easy transaction of $699. No lawyers, no accountants. What a great deal. And Greenmark card made it so easy. Thanks, Greenmark card.
Greenmark invests its own money to help you save up for the future by paying you an unlimited 4% cash back bonus when you make an online purchase. But keep in mind, if you're dumb enough to prepay for a car off of Facebook Marketplace before you see the car or even get the title, that shit's on you, and we offer you no protection.
Wait, no protection at all?
That's right. The Greenmark card is the preferred choice by desperate Middle Easterners looking to rip off naive American senior citizens.
When my grandson called me in a pickle and explained that he was on a missionary trip to Africa, lost his wallet, and his wife took ill, I was able to help him out in a jiffy, thanks to the Greenmark card.
So why not join hundreds of thousands of unsatisfied, ripped-off Greenmark users who think they're internet savvy but still find themselves preloading hundreds of dollars onto a Greenmark card at 3 a.m. in a local Walmart?
When I got that email from someone I didn't know, warning me that they captured me in photos looking at certain websites that may or may not have been porn, and that if I didn't pay them $500, they would share them with everyone I know in my contact list. Well, it was a godsend to know that Greenmark was there, and I was able to pay them off with no paper trail. Thanks, Greenmark.
The Greenmark card, it's the #1 choice by internet scammers and hackers worldwide when it comes to ripping off naive Westerners. We here at Greenmark know this, but take no action to protect you, our clients. After all, we still get our beaks wet.
Whoa, what?
The Greenmark card, get it where all fine prepaid credit cards are available. Suckers.
The Greenmark card is not responsible for any fraudulent or moralist engagements between a second and or third party when used to pay for any goods, services, actions, or sexual deviancies.
That was 2 minutes and 38 seconds of me popping my peas because I didn't go to broadcasting school. You know, it's funny. Over Thanksgiving weekend, I got 3 calls. Well, Carrie got 2, and I got 2. One I got on Sunday, and the next one I got on Monday, and that's where the fine people at the Social Security office called me. You know, because,
Oh yeah.
and they were explaining to us that, my Social Security card has been stolen and is being used for money laundering and drug trafficking. To which
Now, do they have flawless American accents?
Oh, you know they do, straight out of India. And so on Sunday, I didn't feel like playing them. I said, look, if you're going to try to pretend like you're from the Social Security office, no, I'm sorry. Sunday, I got a call from Apple support saying my iCloud account has been compromised, which I've never earned an Apple product. I don't have an iCloud. And so I said, hey, I don't have time for this. If you're going to try to scam Westerners into thinking you're from Apple, don't call on Thanksgiving because Apple's closed today. And she hung up. But anyhow, Carrie got the call from the IRS, and I got the call on Monday too. And I already knew what the spiel was because I already heard Carrie had hers on speakerphone. And, of course, I was saying, is the steak ready? Because, well, we know how they feel about cows over there. And I'm a dick. That I usually make reference to gay porn if I think they're Muslim. But that's another thing that they tend to get angry about. But, no, they called me on Monday. And when he got to the spiel about my Social Security card has been compromised and being used for money laundering and drug trafficking, I said, so what's the problem? He said, I told you, sir, your Social Security number is being used for drug trafficking and money laundering. First and foremost, how would the IRS know that? But I said, well, that's how I make my money. He's like, excuse me? I said, I'm in the drug trafficking and laundering money, just like you're into trying to scam Westerners into thinking you're from the Social Security office. And he hung up.
Like drug traffickers. You're in my drug trafficking business. I need your Social Security number.
Exactly. But the sad thing is, as we talked 2 weeks ago, and if you guys haven't done so, just go on YouTube and look for Scam and Scammers. There's these hackers, quote unquote, that they have a fake computer set up or empty shell computer set up. And so when these guys call and they log in, they have a software that backlogs them into their computers. And one guy was deleting the scammers files while he's talking to them. And he kept referring them to the name under C users and his name's like, no, it's not my name. My name's Kevin. And at the end, he's like, Kevin, go look your files. And goes like, are you tampering my computer? He went through the entire video. He's deleting all his pictures, all his resume files. It's fantastic.
What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
What are you?
And oh, please, sir, can I have my files back? He's like, no, you just tried to scam me out of money. So yeah, you got to go check those out. But it's just the scamming is just getting ridiculous. But 2 questions for you. One, we're going to do a survey on our Facebook page, and I'll post it after the show. But can you name a smell at a convenience store that smells worse than boiled peanuts?
Burnt popcorn.
I don't know, man. I think boiled peanuts has got to be the most unappetizing. First and foremost, do you like
Who
boiled
boils
peanuts?
peanuts, by the way?
Oh, that's a big thing down here. You go to the gas stations and they have a crock pot full of boiled peanuts, and you buy them by the styrofoam cup full. It must be a southern thing.
It's gotta be.
You go to 7-Eleven or a lot of these small mom and pop gas stations, you'll walk in, this odor will punch you in the mouth, and it's a crock pot full of boiled peanuts.
Out here, it's more like roasted peanuts, but yeah, boiled peanuts, that just doesn't even sound
Oh,
appetizing.
it smells horrible. I've never had one. I prefer my peanuts salted and roasted, not boiled. I don't know what they boil it in, but the shells are just soggy. It's just gross.
Boil it in oil. We boil it in oil.
No, then that would be fried. I don't know if it's boiled in like vinegar water or what. But this could be a little controversial. Now, I'm going to, not controversial to the fact we need to play Tom McDonald, but controversial that if you own a fast food restaurant, you may get a little offended. I thought maybe we could start a new award ceremony, and maybe we'll put it up to the listeners. We'll start a poll on Facebook. I came up with this after you and I were talking with your diet that it's good practice to go back to a restaurant every few months and order their food just to remind yourself why you stopped eating there.
Yes, it is.
And I was
It
eating
keeps
some.
you in check.
I was eating some soggy ass French fries, and I thought maybe we could come up with the "What's in Your Head" Digital 410 Deep Fried Turd Award. Now, you have to be honest with yourself. You can't. When I ask you this question, you can't say, "Well, on a good day, if you go there at 10:15 when they first start serving lunch, they have the best." No, these are the French fries you get going through the drive-thru at any point in the day. And they just
How about
suck.
the ones that maybe have been sitting in that bin just a little
They
too long?
just suck. First, be honest, when's the last time you actually got a French fry you would write home about? Once again, I'm not talking about the one day where you just happen to go through McDonald's at 10:02 when they started serving lunch and they were fresh out the front. I mean, on a daily, consistent basis, when you go
I
through.
think Five Guys. Five Guys
Worst?
would probably be the only one.
No, we're talking worst. I want to know the worst French fries out
Oh,
there.
the worst?
I want to know your vote for worst French fry in the fast food game. Now, Carrie and I were talking about this. Remember when Burger King changed their French fry back in the late 90s, early 2000s?
No, actually don't.
Yeah, Burger King, I remember when they changed their fries, and they were actually pretty good. But I don't know. We need to come up with a ranking system for worst fast food-based French fry.
I will say Del Taco right now.
And see, that's where it's going to be a little difficult because we're going to have to create enough of them to see, are we going to...
Oh, you know what? I am gonna say something, and it will be very polarizing.
I see what you did there.
The worst French fries I've had recently, and
Uh-huh.
I haven't had them in a while, so it was like 6-8 months ago, and I've had them twice. Chick-fil-A.
I can see that. The waffle fry, now...
They're not cooked enough. They're kind of cold every time I've gone, and they're a little on the soggy side.
Does Facebook no longer allow you to post poll questions? Is this something I want to go to Twitter for?
Maybe.
I'm on Facebook now trying to post a poll question, and I don't think they allow you to post poll questions anymore. We may have to
Right.
do this either via Twitter or via
Or just say
email.
List your least favorite fry.
Yeah, I'll just put a. We won't be able to put official poll. We're going to have to count up comments. I'll put just a question on our Facebook page of the worst French fries, and so I'm typing that in now. Yeah, Chick-fil-A can have a pretty doughy fat fry.
Yeah, that's mine.
I would have to say, I know it's going to have to either be McDonald's or Burger King. And like I said, I know McDonald's makes a good fry if you go at the right time, but this is an everyday, just run-of-the-mill, stopping by on the way home,
right?
just consistently. I can't tell you the last time I actually got a pleasant batch of French fries from McDonald's, which I think the reason that's even more painful is because we know that they have such potential for creating a good French fry. And so I think that makes it even worse. That if you're known...
Yeah, their fry kind of started going downhill when they went away from the lard and the fat to vegetable oil.
Yep. What was that called? Oh, basically what happened was they used to tallow. Yeah, they used to fry their French fries in beef-based fat. And then, as previously discussed with me so rudely and racistly asking the guy online if my steaks are done because they're Hindu and they love cows, a Hindu gentleman sued McDonald's because he was buying French fries thinking they were done in vegetable oil. When he found out it was based in beef fat, it was an assault on his religion. And so that's when McDonald's switched over to vegetable oil, and most of all the other ones followed suit, besides your beloved Five Guys who use peanut oil.
Which I'm actually surprised because
especially
with all the
nowadays,
peanut allergies in the world, they're able to slide through, and God love them for it.
Who would you keep on talking while I post this?
I'm actually going to go ahead.
Who
and
would
move
say
it
your
to
secondary
What's that?
worst French fry?
I've had some pretty bad Wendy's fries.
Yes, Wendy's changed theirs a while back. They went to sea salt, and I think they still have the peel on them.
Yes, I remember that.
So yes, Wendy's is up in there. When it comes to great fries, I have been known to drive 45 minutes up to Port Charlotte and go to Checkers just to get a Big Buford in their bitter batter fries.
Fun fact, we had some Checkers out here, and two of them closed, but one of them closed and became a Rally's.
Well, it's the same thing.
I know it's the same thing, but maybe it was just from a marketing standpoint.
I was going to say they probably did a name recognition, and they found out there's probably more Midwesterners out there who are familiar with the brand.
You're snoring.
Who is more familiar with the brand of... actually, no. I think West Coast is probably more familiar with it because remember, Seth Green did the ads back in the 90s.
Yes. Cha-ching.
And so I think West Coast and the Northeast are more familiar with Rallies because when you're in Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana, it's Rallies. It's not until you get to like Georgia, Tennessee, Florida that it turns into Checkers.
Yep. My favorite one that I actually missed from Grove City was Daddy-O's.
Yes, Daddy-O's was like the closest thing to a Rallies competitor. They're very similar. They had the same drive-through. Actually, if you watch old episodes of King of Queens, I don't know if he's driving through Daddy-O's or Checkers, but it's that same looking drive-through. But yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm actually going to go ahead and move into the news real quick.
Okay, well, hold on. Let me. We got that new fancy stuff
At
we
our
want.
stinger.
Yep.
Superior Galactic Grid.
I always hit the wrong
read
button.
block.
I always hit the wrong button. Is this one it? Nope.
Joining us now from the Digital 410 West News Desk in Las Vegas, Nevada, Gordon Abernathy.
Gordon, how you doing tonight?
Pretty good from the consistently inconsistent news desk. Maybe that's the new saying. So we remember this mysterious silver monolith. It's probably a little bit of old news that was out in the Utah desert.
Mm-hmm.
But disappeared mysteriously.
From the last TikTok I saw, the Sasquatch had it out in the woods. Somebody dressed up in a full Sasquatch outfit, almost like from the beef jerky commercials, and he made one out of tinfoil. And he's putting it up in the woods.
That's fantastic. So, mysterious silver monolith was placed in the Utah desert, has disappeared less than 10 days after it was spotted by wildlife biologists performing their helicopter survey of bighorn sheep. Now, a lot of people found this because they were able to find it on Google Earth from...
Wait a minute, time out, hold up, stop. This thing's only been around for 10 days?
No.
Oh, I was going to say, what the hell is everybody concerned?
Quote unquote discovered by live people, but people were able to locate it because they pulled up the old Google Earth, and it apparently had been there since about 2015-ish.
Well, it's still...
And some people... Did you ever watch Westworld by chance?
I started watching it, but let me just say, I thought this thing had been around since like ancient times out. I
No,
wasn't
they
aware that it was in Vegas. I just seen all this monolith. I walked all out here and it's gone. I just assumed this thing been like out in like Arizona, like in the desert since like the Native
It was in
American
Utah.
times. I wasn't aware that some artist built
Well,
this shit 10 years ago.
If it was Native American times, they used stainless steel and modern pop rivets. That's what held it together.
Well, then who cares?
Exactly. So what they think, there is a theory out there that's being floated that it may have been a leftover set piece from Westworld because they were filming in that area at the time
Perfect.
that Google Earth first discovered it from 2015, 2016 times.
So for all you cats at home who have nothing to do because you're locked down due to COVID, hop on HBO Plus, start rummaging through hours and hours upon Westworld, take a screenshot of that, post it online, and you can be the hero upon the nerds for spending an inordinate amount of time
If you
finding
can
it.
find it, if this is true, put it on the What's in Your Head.
Yeah, and then we
Facebook
can share it, and
page
then
so
we'll
we
become
can
popular.
share it around the world, and be the ones who kind of sort of discover the deal.
Yeah.
So as we know, this thing disappeared. They say that some people who first discovered it gone said they saw a large truck leaving with a very large object wrapped up in the back,
Along
So-
with a hot water heater, 2 washing machines, and a dryer. It's called a scrapper. Got it. He's taking it down to the
there's a
scrapyard
bunch of
right
ba-
now.
bunch of bicycles too.
Yeah, bicycles.
You can't forget about the bicycles.
You know a scrapper has that.
Oh, you got that right.
I mean, if that's stainless steel, that's not white goods. There, you can get a good trading value on that. Oh, scrappers, man.
So what else have we got? Navy. This is coming in actually from Popular Mechanics, so I don't know the legitimate.
Ooh, have you seen the 2021 Tundra photos that have been popping up?
Yes, I have. But the Navy is firing a mysterious weapons today, and it sure sounds like the old famous railgun.
Oh yeah.
So the Navy had issued a noise advisory for Chesapeake region of Virginia. The danger zone stretches nearly 6 miles towards the Atlantic Ocean and will be closed to private boat traffic. The Navy had hadn't said what it was testing, but it is in the same location where the service tested its railgun prototypes. The U.S. Navy is testing something big and loud over the Potomac River this weekend. I started going in different directions with that in my mind. The service issued the advisory over munitions testing in Virginia's Tidewater region, closing sections of the river to boats. So, they very well could be remember the old railgun from 2021?
Yep.
42, that was it. So maybe the railgun is on its way. And then I've only got one more quick story, and I am sorry, guys. I'm just kind of running a little backwards today. But there was a rough rescue. Storms, broken plane forces layover for turtles.
Uh-oh.
So Boston, coming out of Boston. They may have gotten there faster by walking, but at any rate, these endangered turtles had a lot to be thankful for on Thanksgiving. Thanks God it wasn't in soup. The bad weather, a damaged propeller, and an unscheduled stop in Tennessee complicated the rescue of 30 critically endangered Kemp's Riley sea turtles that were among hundreds found recently in the beaches of Cape Cod, stunned and almost killed by falling ocean temperatures. So the temperatures of the ocean plummeted, shocking these creatures and pert near, yes, I said pert near, killing them. So volunteers and conservation experts initially took the turtles to the New England Aquarium in Boston and a National Marine Life Center on Buzzards Bay. That sounds like a delightful place. Where they began a long rehabilitation process before being moved to wildlife centers along the Atlantic and Gulf Coast, which tells me that they may have been headed down your direction.
Yeah.
A batch of 30 New Orleans-bound turtles had a harder trip than most. Their plane left Wednesday, but had to change course and refuel twice, not once, but twice, because storms and strong winds. A rock kicked up during the takeoff after the second refueling in Chattanooga, damaging the propeller, thus grounding the plane. So these turtles, I think they're going to make it, but they do grow to a little over 2 feet, and they were being rescued. So the goal was not finding anything today that was related to all the BS out there, and that's about all I found, to be quite honest. So that is what we have for news.
Well, thank you for that. I was had a local thing I was looking at earlier. It had to do with the Marine Corps asking grunts to stop dropping LSD, but I can't find the updated version of that story.
This concludes the evening news, and now back to the ACT Computer Studio in Cape Coral, Florida.
You know, I think we're going to wrap it up a little early anyhow because it's late night, and I failed. We have our new bit, which is the TikTok lesson of the week, which I didn't get around to taking care of because it's been so crazy between my shitter being full. That's another drop I should have had, is the shitter's full.
Shitter's full.
The shitter's full, but we're going to wrap it up for this episode of the What's in Your Head podcast. I also spent 4 days dealing with our web host because I got a warning that the podcast generator that we use on our site to distribute our shit through RSS feeds is going to expire. So it's just been insanity. I can't wait for this year to be over. Real quick before we go. Guilty pleasure. I've been watching Jersey Shore Family Reunion.
No, I'm sorry.
And they're just, it's so amazing how you never realize how recent these reality-based shows are recorded. And I'm watching this season of Alaska: The Last Frontier. And what is interesting is they were recording back in January, February, March. And it's interesting to go back and watch now that we're fucking almost done with this year and we've been into this shit for 9 months now. It's interesting going back and watching this stuff in semi-real time of how we all acted when this shit first came out and the different protocols as far as, and it's funny on Jersey Shore, they show the wise like spraying down the boxes from Amazon with the Lysol and the rubber, all the stuff we all did. I mean, we're all guilty of it. It's just
Chicken Little, right?
It's just interesting living through that now and knowing what we know as far as as said before with the currency, the fact that it doesn't live on inanimate objects where before they're saying it could last up to 14 days. And I remember when it first came out, I was wearing rubber latex gloves and working on people's computers because keyboards are one of the dirtiest surfaces in the world, wearing a mask and all that stuff. And it's so interesting watching these reality-based TV shows that were recorded just a few short months back and reliving that through their eyes and like, oh yeah, I remember that, and showing the toilet paper shortages and all the concern.
Unfortunately, that's back.
But but yeah, it's just interesting to see, even though it's just a short few months ago, get a refresh of how we all treated this thing when it first started. And going back to what you're saying, and I meant to mention this earlier, talking to you and talking to our sister and our mom in Kentucky, which I told him, you guys are too close to Ohio. A lot of their policies are dripping down your way because now they're talking about reclosing Kentucky down and all this stuff. I'm like, I feel like I'm the only one who still lives in a free state in this country anymore. I mean, here in Florida, here in Florida, the only reason we know we have COVID is people suggest you wear a mask. And I think Walmart still closes at 10. Other than that, everything's pretty much wide open.
Yeah,
so it's
awesome.
just, it's scary to see how everybody's, Kentucky's thinking about closing down again. Businesses are closing down. Everybody's hurting on money. A lot of people, if they didn't lose their job, their pay's been cut damn near in half because just hours are down, work's down. And
Count myself lucky.
yeah, I want to say can't wait till 2020 is over, but I don't think 2021 is going to be much different. I think it's going to be worse in different angles. I definitely don't think I think the media's portrayal of COVID is going to change dramatically once Big Red gets out of office or Big Orange gets out of office. And once Limpy Biden and his boot gets into office, I'm sure the mainstream media is going to treat their coverage of this completely. I heard CNN once they already said the Biden one. I heard CNN took down their body count. They've been like running a body count on their screen since this thing started. And once they announced that Biden won, they took it down and put the economy numbers up. So there you go, as a starter. But anyhow, I can't wait for this all to be over. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. OG5 members, go log in your email and log in to Patreon. We put up a very honest, open, semi-political episode of the OG5 podcast this weekend. So if you guys haven't checked that out. Check your inboxes about your chance to get a free OG5 hat. And obviously the stickers are there. If you guys aren't a member of the OG5 and you want to support the podcast, speaking of herd economy, we really could use a little extra support right now. Head over to d-410.com or what'sinyourhead.com. Click on that orange Patreon link if you're on a computer. If you're on a smartphone and tablet, you do have to scroll all the way to the bottom because the way the website handles the layout, all the banner ads are at the bottom. So if you go on your phone and you don't see it, scroll down the bottom. All the tiers, you have access to the same thing. $1 a month. It's $1 a month. Get access to the OG5 podcast, the videos, the offers for the free stickers, hats. The $3.50 a month plan, if you really want to support the channel. The only difference is on the $7.50 a month plan, you get a free t-shirt after month 2. But because you guys have been supporting this podcast so much, that's why we're trying to work a way to get the free hats to you. And so please, if you want to support the channel, head over there, sign up for Patreon, even if you do the $1 a month plan. Hey, it's $1 a month that we could really use. And thank you guys so much. And remember, if you don't get out of your comfort zone, you'll never get out of bed. So go out and, test yourself. Get out of your comfort zone. See if you can surprise yourself with what you're able to do in your life. And for God's sakes, go out and get a dog.
This has been a Digital 410 production.